Hello, my fine friends, and welcome to episode 4 of Let's Play Cities, Skylines, Trinity. Now, if you remember from the last episode, we have filled up all of Trinity with various small roads. Now, what we're going to do this time is we are going to put down some actual services, and then we are going to build our first little towns. Look at that. The ships traveling through the town. It's a good sight. Gotta love seeing the boats on the river. I'm glad I made it a fully navigable river. Let's see, will he go right for the... Yes, sometimes the pathing isn't exactly what you would hope for. But anyway, let us begin. I think coming over here in this area is actually the best spot that we can have for doing some of our stuff. Of course, slopes are going to be a problem in this area. It's much less flat than it looks, but yeah, okay, well, we might actually put it somewhere else then. We could always level it, but I don't want to go too nuts. So there we go. Power plant. And we are going to also, for good measure, let's stick a couple of these incinerators nearby, and we'll just have a road here so they can loop around. Remember, I'm deliberately not planning for the future. I'm just sort of putting things where they could go. Next step is we need some water. So we could have pumps just about anywhere, but I want to put them higher than the sea level. Remember, sea level's at 40, and water might backwash all the way up to about here, I think. Somewhere in here. So I want them to be up here. And we are going to have our treatment plants at the very southern end of the city, and the hope is that the current will wash it out from our city and it won't backlog, whatever the term is, into our city. So we are going to do that, and now we are going to drag our pump all the way back to here, and for good measure let's drag it all the way back here as well. We want to hook up all of these things, make sure they are good and that they are functioning. So this is the other thing about this game I don't quite like, is the way the power lines work. I mean, we have different systems to compare them to. In SimCity 2000, back in the day, you built power lines to connect one zone to another, but as soon as the zones were built, they built over the power lines. In SimCity 4, the zones themselves actually carried power, so you couldn't make power on the zones. This game has the worst of both worlds, because you need to use the power lines in order to connect zones, but the zones don't zone over the power lines, so the power lines remain, and you have to go back and manually delete them, or else you have to just sort of accept them. And it can be rather annoying. So yes, I give high praise to this game, and it does deserve it, but sometimes the praise must come with annoyance. Okay, so we are just going to hook this back up. And also, seeing power lines in cities like this isn't a unrealistic thing, so we can only be so annoyed with it anyway. So there we go. That is all hooked up, and that took less than 5 minutes of time. Now it is time for us to build some towns and hamlets. Now, unlike SimCity 4, where you could get away with denying amenities for a while. In this game, you have to do it pretty immediately. So here's what we're going to say happened. There was a town charter for the town of Riverside right here that extends 2 blocks to the north and south of the main road here, and up until this road here, whatever it might be called. And yes, I have seen your names, but I haven't written them down yet, so it will be in the future. Besides, I want to have a bit more stable, a few more stable roads, you know, a few more like that aren't going to get changed in the construction. Sometimes annoying things like this will happen, so we'll have to temporarily delete that before replacing it. Okay. Well, there we go. And we are going to extend that to here. And so this will be the town charter for Riverside. Now keep in mind, there will be plenty of other outlying areas, but this is going to eventually be a historic district because it was the first place settled in this area. So it is time for us to make this district, and I want this to be a city full of districts. This is something I have wished you could do ever since the SimCity 2000 days. I don't like how that annoying stuff happens, though. You know, it snaps to intersection, just like, nope, I want the road to be the boundary. I don't want the road to be entirely within one or the other. So we do some fine tuning over here, and we are going to yeah, we're going to say that's good, and we're going to call this Riverside. And policies, we can look at the policies, and there's a lot of things here, but we can officially call this Old Town. But ban other motor traffic. That's not really what we want, though. But we could do other things here. Well, I think biking. People would like to bike in this small town. And let's see, what else can we do here? Probably not too much, but let's give it a good park thing, and we are going to give them we're going to give them that. We're going to probably use other things at other places, but Riverside is going to be a sort of a historic district in the future, and we are going to lay down a few more streets so that we have a quality grid. Including here, we can simply make this go up, and let's put one more here, which will connect to there. Alright, well, here is Riverside. So we are going to make a central park here. It's going to have its own police station. We're going to use the smallest sizes for all of this, because even though I am running the unlimited money thing, I don't want to rely too much on that. I want things to be relatively realistic. We're going to give them their own high school and elementary school. The elementary schools have really small ranges, though, so you have to be very careful. But basically what we're going to do is we are going to make a commercial district right at the heart of Riverside. Just like so. And then we are going to make the rest residential. So this will be the first town chartered under the new act. And yes, in the original Trinity, there was a town called Riverside that was located at roughly the same location. So there we go. There is our first town. And before we turn on the time, let us happily connect it up with water and power. As we make more towns, making these water and power connections is going to become easier because there will already be plenty of pipes and power lines crisscrossing the area. But yes, Riverside is going to be hooked up with the power, so we are going to turn on the time, because now that that exists, we will see the first houses be built. Oh man, look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, Trinity isn't an idea anymore. It is an actual place where actual people will live. I mean, they're not there yet, but they will be there very soon. So it's rather exciting to see. Now that we got that going on, let's go down where our two main roads are. And here is a town that was once called, in the original SimCity version, it was called Old Junction. So, in honor of that, we are going to give it a very creative name. We are going to call it Old Junction. Because, hey, if it worked there, it could work here. So we're going to leave this historic farmhouse here. We could even say this town grew up around the farmhouse. We could do things like there, like this. We'll even make a road here that curves and snakes, and we'll say, yep, that was the road he used to get to market, or whatever. Even though market would actually be right around where his house is. But be that as it may, we're going to put that out here. We're going to make the streets here a little bit more eclectic, but we're also going to make them a lot tighter, you know, to make it look older. Like these things have been here a lot longer. Also, a lot of these pillories are here, but they're probably going to be removed over time. Let's think ahead here. I'm thinking we could put a whole hospital in here, possibly, but we're probably just going to put a medical clinic. But yeah, there's going to be roads here that will fill out this area. And you will connect there. And there we go. This is probably going to be a little bit bigger than Riverside, actually. But you link over there. We're going to have this come over here. And you can connect there. Doo-ba-doop, doo-ba-doo-ba-doop, doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. Very simple. Very, very simple. And yes, too many intersections too close together can cause problems. But remember, how would they know that, right? This is the old days, where problems like this are not anticipated. So, there is our town. We are going to slap down a medical clinic, police station, fire station, the high school will go here, the elementary school will go over here across from this place. And we'll give this area its own park. Yes. So, let's once again fill in this area with its historic name. And also, if you want to suggest names for neighborhoods, you can do that too. So we're not going to make this super precise or anything, but just like that. And this is going to be Old Junction. Excellent. Okay. So in order to do that, we need some commercial here, around here. We're just going to fill it in various places. Yeah, sure, why not? Why not up here? Okay. And we'll put in a small bit here for no reason. But then we are going to keep this area primarily residential. Yeah, look at that. Boo boo doo 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 doo. I remember in the original Trinity, Old Junction eventually became a mansion district after enough time. Like the land value shot up there. Don't know if that will happen here, but we'll keep our eye on it. I might eventually turn some of these into Old Town districts, but don't know. We'll give them smoke detectors for free over here. I don't know, we're just putting out different policies. We'll turn on the time. Oh, we have to connect the water. But yeah, pretty soon stuff should be developing over here. So we have some good stuff. Now our first residents are coming in. Look at that. We are going to watch one of them. We are going to watch one of our brand new residents. So here we go. I wonder what this is talking about. And we'll find out in a minute. Actually, we'll just close that. Yep, this is one thing that SimCity 4 never had, which is on-the-ground views. Now, I wouldn't be too surprised if they had them on a mod or something. But this is only because this is technically a mod too, but it's a very common mod and it works well with a lot of mods. And it's a lot easier to mod this game than it was to mod SimCity 4. I mean, you had to go in and load the files and put the files in the right spot and run this program, and I forget what else. I only ever had one mod, which was the famous network add-on mod. Good buddy Dwyron walked me through that setup. It wasn't so easy or intuitive, but that's okay. Alright, oh, I want to hit the green. Oh, too late. I wanted to see where we parked, but it was one of these houses around here. So, people are moving into Riverside. I don't know, maybe we can see where this connection they're whining about is. Well, everything looks good. I don't know what they're talking about. As for Old Junction, I don't know whether they'd be coming in over here or down here. Or maybe they'd be coming in from way up here also. But I think we're going to have to wait a little bit until we see anyone coming in for that town. But we are going to roll right along with adding a few more towns. Alright. So, let's just casually make some streets. Look at that. Including streets that are not at right angles and all that stuff. Okay. But yes, and of course city sprawl is something that we will have to contend with at some point in the future. But we don't have to worry about that just yet. Because like I said, coming from that video that talked about London, the beauty is not in the perfection, but in how the city manages to deal with its imperfections. So that is the theme that I'm going with here. And yes, there will be plenty of road projects as time moves on. You just wait. We are in the early stages. And one thing about me and city building games, as well as a lot of other kind of games, is that the way I build, it's like, what the hell is he doing? What the hell? And for a very long time, it just seems odd and weird and disjointed. But then, after enough time passes, it all starts to come together. Because I have ideas in my mind about how things should be. I have a concept. And it's like I'm assembling pieces of a puzzle slowly. You'll see. So, we have another little town here. Excellent. We can keep adding them. Let's throw one over here. Why not give one to the this area here, which is hilly. And we are going to make it a very curvy, non-straight town. So there we go. Okay. Yep. Okay. Beautiful construction. Beautiful. What a delicious mess that all is. And these, like before, these areas can be nuclei from which the town spreads. Also, probably need a hearse company here. We also should probably throw one back here at the original place. So, police, fire, clinic, throw in a high school, throw in an elementary school, and we will put in some commercial. And once again, we will use primarily residential. One big difference I have to point out between SimCity 4 and City Skylines when it comes to organic building is that in SimCity 4 it's very easy to upgrade a low-density area into a high-density area, where in Cities Skylines it's a little bit harder. So I'm going to be deliberately leaving some areas alone until it's time to go high-density, because that's the only way that they're going to be preserved. And it makes sense. It doesn't necessarily violate the organic principle, especially if we keep certain design principles in mind as we do it. But here we go. Very nice. My goal is once we build enough little towns, then we can possibly think about building our first railroads. And the first railroads will mean our first railroad towns. So that could be a way to get the ball rolling with this. And I think that would be highly good. So that's all developed. And now we see the beginning of zones. So let's come over here. Yep. People are starting to come in over here. Are they coming in from here too? Doesn't look like it. Are they coming in from up here? They are. Okay. Well, we're going to conclude this episode by watching this Jeep owned by the very fairy tale named Hyper Gray coming home. And I do want to intersperse views of the city, you know, and on road level as we go along. Because look at this. Look at this view. And can you imagine this road one day crisscrossed with other streets with buildings all over, maybe highways and rails going up and above and around? Yeah, it's going to be quite rad. Perhaps parts of this road itself will be upgraded to bigger highways. So many things can happen. So we are just going to sit back in our chairs. We're going to watch him go. We could speed it up, but I want them to go there in real time. And then later on, once things are more developed, we can go back and compare to how things looked then and now. Well, the now of the future, I think you know what I mean there. A building has leveled up. That's good. That means that we have the first level 2 building, and it didn't take that long. Which it usually doesn't. I mean, usually you build, and as long as services are provided, the building should start leveling up almost immediately. So it's a good thing. As you can see, we're heading in the direction of the derelict factories, and we are also heading up towards the railroad crossing. So this street, which has been straight for so long, is slowly curving. Uh-oh. Here comes a train. And this train, of course, is passing through the city because there are not yet any stations in the city. So now we're across and we are going. Outside connection needed. I still don't know what that's referring to. Maybe I screwed up somewhere outside of the city. That happened in a map I downloaded once. A person didn't connect two pieces of the highway that were outside the city boundaries, and it created problems. But I don't think that necessarily happened here, because otherwise we'd be seeing... I don't know. I think I would have caught that. I really do. Oh, I can see the buildings in the distance where we are headed. So that's pretty cool. I feel that there should have been a second train crossing, though. Or maybe there still will be. Because, remember, there were the two rail lines very close together near the derelict factories. But then again, I think I can see the other rail. We're kind of going parallel to it. So we're probably going to cross it very soon, or at least come near it. In fact, I'm almost certain we're going to cross it, because Old Junction is right over there. So, he comes in. Everything is going well so far. We can see the rail bridge over the river. And also we can see the highway bridge if you look to the left a little bit. So we have plenty of things to see. Plenty of scenery. And it looks like this road is coming to an end at the major road. So there we go, moving a little bit faster. And yep, here is our rail crossing as we head into Old Junction. Okay. Looks rather good. So now it's just a matter of him finding the home, the place to park. And then we can zoom out to see where we are. Oops, it does that sometimes, but it's not a big deal. We can easily see where we went. We went all the way along here, down here, made a right, and we parked right there. See? Piper Gray, who is currently in his house. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the very start, the very humble beginnings of our city. So, next time we congregate here, we are going to be building more little towns, and possibly we'll even get started on the first rail project. But that remains to be seen. So, until next time, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.